Mate, Manchester United are fascinating, aren't they? They spent like best part of 200 million or even more, maybe, thereabouts, on Šeško and Mbeumo and Cunha. And certainly with Cunha and Mbeumo, they're like oven-ready players for the Premier League that we've seen them perform, and they do look good at times. But a huge investment in the new attack. They've just drawn 1-1 at the Cottage. Poor old Fulham, they haven't beaten Man United in 15 seasons at home? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think a commentator said that. And look, despite spending all this money on the attack, and I know it's just 2 games and there are green shoots, but they haven't scored a single goal yet. They got a draw here away at the Cottage, courtesy of a Muniz own goal. Lenny Yoro tried to claim it, but it was been given as a Muniz own goal. So it's just a fascinating thing, isn't it, Man United? It's still, even when the vibes are up, they've got the bomb squad out on the side, you know, they've got the Premier League ready players in, they don't have to deal with Højlund. Šeško looks like a good high potential player. Amorim's still adored by the fans and maybe he should get a chance. He's still got less points than he has games played, I believe. I believe that's still the case. Which is wild, bro. Absolutely incredible. We'll talk about the positives, but also just how mental they are as well. So anyway, welcome back to the channel, Football Yannick. Daily content here, of course, on YouTube. So thank you to those of you who keep checking in every day. I do really appreciate it. Yeah, trying to get to that 20k sub mark, so you can help me achieve it by just subscribing and, like, you know, if you want to support me as a content creator, like, comment, all that good gear, man. So yeah, Fulham, transferless Fulham. Marco Silva hung around, that was the main thing, wasn't it? 4-2-3-1, Muniz up front, of course, scoring the own goal. Iwobi looking good, Tete looking good in the back line, Sessegnon, Robinson coming on looking very fast, Anderson's a good centre-back. The midfield looks okay, but the Man United midfield is so bad, bro. It's so bad. Like, Amorim's playing the 3-4-2-1, so he's got a box midfield of Fernandes and Casemiro, and I suppose in the 6-6, and then you've got Mount and Mbeumo creating the box, and then you've got Cunha up top, and I imagine there's a degree of fluidity. Mason Mount staying, I'm looking at the heat maps now, Mason Mount staying on the left and Mbeumo staying on the right. To be honest, yeah, it's a box midfield and Cunha's a false 9, so he can go where he wants. You've got the wing-backs of Dorgu and Diallo. Diallo's a very attacking right wing-back. And in theory, I think De Ligt did have a good game for Man United, flanked by Shaw and Yoro. Yoro's a very high-ceiling young player that Real Madrid wanted. Shaw, you know, he's being played as a left centre-back, kind of doing what Reece James is happening at Chelsea, playing as that sort of right outside centre-back that gets forward sometimes, protecting an injury-prone player. And Binder in goal, who wasn't awful, but is not a good goalkeeper. Is that a wild take? I don't think so. We saw substitute appearances from the very fast. Robinson, Wilson, Emil Smith-Rowe, who scored the equaliser with his first touch, I believe. And Raul Jimenez, the striker. United made all 5 substitutions from Amorim, Dalot, Šeško. Again, these new strikers, Šeško coming on for Casemiro, Ugarte for Mount. At this point, they were ahead. So I guess he was trying to defend a 1-0 own goal lead. Look, again, I don't want to take the mickey too much here, because Fulham are no mugs. There's no easy game in the Premier League at the moment. That's the legitimate truth. Like, everyone's good now and you're away from home, but winning, like, or not being undefeated in 15 years and winning 8 in a row or something, you know, this bucked the trend. Maguire comes on as well. And, I mean, the story, as always, is Man United. But first, shout out to Fulham. They haven't. Are they yet to make a transfer? They didn't make any transfers the last time I checked. But, you know, Iwobi was good. Tete was good. Like I said, Sessegnon. The striker situation is interesting. They got 2 between Muniz and what's his face, the Raul Jimenez. I mean, Raul Jimenez's best days are gone. He sort of came back after the head injury in terms of some form, but he was never the guy. I wanted him to replace Diego Costa at Chelsea. Like, you know, I'm going back years now, so he's obviously not that guy anymore. But Muniz, you know, he scored the late equaliser in the first game. He was culpable. It's sort of, you know, it's a scramble in the box. It came off him, whatever. I don't think it's like that big a mistake from him. But Man United, bro, I'm looking at SofaScore for reference here. They've given the highest rated player on the pitch to Matthijs de Ligt, which is fine. He played 90 minutes, 95 pass accuracy, did good passing, won the majority of his aerial duels, one ground duel, and he won it. But let's be real, guys, like Dorgu as Manchester United's starting left wing back in a role that's really, really, you know, important. To have him as your starting left wing back, to have Diallo, who's a great, fine young player, but to be, you know, farming him out at right wing back, it just doesn't feel right. Do you know what I mean? It's really, really tricky, I think. And you've got Mbeumo and Cunha who look good, but are they going to catch like Manchester United latest before long and start like just not playing well? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I do want to spend some time and talk about Mason Mount. Obviously, as a Chelsea fan, we enjoyed some excellent form from Mount. He was so important in our Champions League win. Thomas Tuchel loved him. Frank Lampard loved him. He eventually gets sold. He has a fallout with the Chelsea sporting directors, I believe, over a transfer negotiation. He goes in a difficult time. Chelsea fans, I guess, have turned against him. There's a couple of derogatory chants involving Mason Mount with Chelsea fans, which I think is a shame. But again, like all videos, I will speak about my opinions in football through a lens of a Chelsea fan, and Mason Mount is related to Chelsea in this sense. Obviously, he had the crowd surfer, the boy who had a dream. People were sort of earmarking him for Chelsea captain. In Lampard's the final game, he made him captain for that game. And look, it's his career, he made a choice. He's not a Chelsea fan. This is what I don't personally have a massive axe to grind with Mount. He defected to the enemy as far as I'm concerned. South to north, blue to red, Chelsea to Manchester. You know, but he's a Pompey fan, he's a Portsmouth fan. His old man is a Manchester United fan. That's why that clip came out when he was like, home, mate, home. Remember when I took you in? Like, you know, the dressing room. So I lost, like, you know, there's not, like, I lost a certain degree of affection for him, but I didn't feel like he'd, like, do you know what I mean, snaked us or anything. And I got to say, I felt bad for him, you know, because he's a fine player, Mason Mount. He's a fine player, and I've been saying to all my mates who support Man United, and there's a lot. I'm 36 from the south of England. All my mates are Man United fans. They all get stressed out with Mount. Granted, it's been an availability thing, but I said, look, he's a great player and he will make you better. And when Amorim comes in, he plays a 3-4-2-1. That's perfect for Mason Mount. He won the Champions League playing that formation. Amorim even said a bunch of times he loves Mason Mount. And today, for me, I know De Ligt's got a hugely impressive rating on SofaScore, but in terms of on front of the defence, he was the best player. You know, great touches, great dummies to let it run through. He looks like a Champions League winning footballer, which he is, by the way. You know, Casemiro is, but he's just dusted. You got Bruno Fernandes skying a penalty. I wonder how long, if he does another one of those, if Twitchy and Mbeumo will be like, mate, I've always scored penalties. Do you know what I mean? Like, give them to me. I wonder if that will happen. It'd be very interesting to see if he gives that up to Brahim and Mbeumo. But yeah, man, you know, and then Seshko came on, didn't really get a chance to look at him. It's so weird, Man United. Every year, it's like a new thing, like, oh, the goalkeeper's bad, I haven't got a striker. But the midfield, how, like, where's the midfield? £60 million Ugarte from PSG. It's just not a good investment for what they need. They're still playing Casemiro, probably because they pay him £400,000 a week. They're playing Bruno Fernandes as like a double six. So not even Antonio Conte's Chelsea. Let's talk about Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, because it was a really successful that formation, the exact one, not wingers, inside forwards, because Conte used more wingers. So exactly the same as Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. His double six wasn't a million-year-old Casemiro and a number 10 slash at times false 9 Bruno Fernandes, who has played false 9, but let's be real, he's a number 10, he's an attacking midfielder. That as the base of a double 6 midfield. Tuchel would like gasp at that. Tuchel had N'Golo Kante and Nemanja Matic playing there. Do you know what I mean? I think Fabregas had gone by then, but he wouldn't. Maybe in a pinch, Mason Mount would drop in if a player comes off, because Mason Mount's really functional and defensive, way more than Bruno Fernandes. He's playing Bruno Fernandes back there because he feels like he could be this like regista playmaker quarterback, but it's nonsense. It's nonsense when your midfield is like butter. So yeah, it's very, very poor. It's just not. You need that midfield. Genuinely. I know the mood's good again, and like you've got big boy attackers. That's the crazy thing. They still haven't scored a goal. They've got that one own goal, and they still haven't scored with all these players that look good and are good. But that's not the problem, even though that's a headline in itself. The problem is the wingbacks and the midfield still, and the goalkeeper. How are they still here? Mental. I'll put it out to you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Please do leave them down in the comments section below. Thank you as always for supporting me, for liking and subscribing. Daily uploads, so I'd really like to get to 20k with your help. Alright mate, peace.